Yeah, cool.
Yeah, 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 tables where I ain't so able. That shit don't sound stable. My label on calm this shit. I'm gon' take over this. If I run you, bitch, I'll make no talk this shit. I'm on some evil shit, other shit, scheming shit, leaning slick to me. So that's who I'm leaving with. And you can't feed a bitch, then you gon' need a bitch. I was slit your wrist, I was slit your wrist.
That's right, we got Casanova over there.
First I tie your hands and
Hype.
don't make a
What up?
beat from the trunk. Lazy, then we bout to hit the beach.
Welcome to the Death Hour, everybody. My guest this evening is the one, the only, self-fucking-made king of the no ring, Casanova fucking Valentine. What's good, bro?
It's the hipster heartthrob, Casanova Valentine, and I'm here on the Death Hour. It finally fucking happened. Hey, man, thanks for having me on.
That's right. What's up, man? Finally, we got you.
Yeah, it all worked out. Yesterday, something happened with the guy that couldn't do it or something, and I did just a quick Q&A on my Instagram. But you put so much time into this with like the music and the clips, so I'm glad we could just reschedule and do it today. So, no
Man.
sweat. I was off today. It's all good.
Everybody, drop your questions. Casanova will answer anything. He doesn't give a fuck. He will answer anything. Drop them. Drop them. Share this shit all over Facebook. Like it, love it, and all that shit. Man, let's talk about some plug away, man. You got a lot of shows, right?
What's that, man?
You got a lot of shows coming up, don't you? Let's talk about this one right here. Do you see this on your screen?
Murder Mania Night 1. Well, let me start from my upcoming bookings. I gotta tell you what I have to do before I even get to April. So this Thursday is a no-ring death match against MV Young in Brooklyn, and that's going to be at Our Wicked Ladies, one of the venues I run here. And then Saturday I have a no rope barber against Masada at CZW, right? And then after that, I go to Montreal, Canada, to go visit my girlfriend. So no wrestling that weekend. So I got Brooklyn, Jersey, Montreal, Canada, and then I come back and I do Horror Slam in Detroit. And then the following weekend after that, I fly to San Antonio, Texas for a no-ring death match with Heavy Metal Wrestling. And then I fly all the way to Australia to do 10 days in Australia. So I've got a no-ring death match against Joel Bateman, and I might have another one over there. So then after that, I fly all the way back. I do one more show, which isn't announced yet. And then I go to the UK and do a deathmatch tournament. They haven't announced it yet, but I'm in Rise Underground. And I won last year's tournament, so I'm defending. And then I do a show, and then I do Murder Mania Night 1.
Jesus.
Lot, dude.
Holy fuck, that's, man, you're a hardworking man.
Yeah, so I've got Australia and UK before I even, and then from from the UK, I'm going to fly straight to Tampa, and I've got like, I think 6 shows already for Mania Week, so it's grinding, dude.
Holy shit. Okay, let me go back. I don't have all those flyers on me. Holy shit, that's a lot.
That's
But
all good, man. Yeah.
I got this one. This is the match you've been wanting, right?
Yeah. So this match I've been wanting for a long time. Like I said yesterday, when I was, just a fan of deathmatch, Masada was my favorite deathmatch guy. So we were supposed to wrestle one time in Texas. Like when I first started doing the Tender Trap no ring shows, It was booked in Texas. Something happened with the venue. I can't remember what it was, but it ended up not happening. So we did Deathmatch 5 at the Tender Trap, and it was super brutal. I broke my hand. I broke a rib. It was rough. But Masada was like the first, one of the like I did Connor Claxton first, but Masada was like one of the bigger names to hit me up to do one of the no ring shows. So after that, it kind of
Mhm.
helped boom my career, you know. So yeah, so Masada, the rematch I've been wanting for a while. We've been trying to do it since before TOD. It was booked, and then whatever, I don't know on whose end or what, you know, between either DJ and Masada, just two of the dates ended up not happening. So, but now it's finally booked, and you know what's funny is I've been doing deathmatch for a while. I've never done an over barbed wire, and that's like my favorite type of match. So like, I'm legit excited. It's my match I've always wanted against the guy I've always wanted to rematch with. So yeah, you know, should be brutal, man.
Why did this match take so long for CZW DJ Hyde to pull the trigger? It seems like months ago you guys were setting this thing up, and now we're finally getting it here in a week or so.
Yeah, well, listen, I know a lot of people like to give DJ shit, but to his credit, he was trying to book it. You know, like he wasn't like we had dates, so I don't know. You know, like I don't know the real story. I just know that for whatever reason they couldn't come to an agreement, and it just ended up not happening. But it's finally booked now, so like DJ did give me the match I wanted, so I'm excited for it, and I think it'll be brutal. I just watched his match with Slack, and that finish was awesome when he skewered him, put the chair to him, and V triggered the chair.
Yeah.
So uh, it's going to be up there with just real brutal match. So I'm just glad it's finally happening. It took a while, but you know, here it is. It'll happen. You know.
Nice. So you want to answer this question? Brian wants to know your dream opponent.
I mean, if Bruiser Brody was alive, it'd be Bruiser Brody. But living, like, I think the biggest match I'd want would be Sabu. I grew up as a kid watching ECW and MSG Network at like 3 in the morning. I'd wake up, put a blank tape in to record it. And I remember being like 9 or 10, and just the things Sabu was doing were things I couldn't even comprehend. You know, like I was like fucking completely blown away. So I've always been a huge Sabu fan. I actually have a funny story. I mentioned it yesterday. Is you know watching ECW as a kid, and then I started trading tapes, and then I got into FMW because an older kid traded me some FMW tapes. And I think the first FMW match I saw was the big pool death match. You know, Onita. It's like a Mike Awesome. It's like a 6-man tag or something. But I hated Mr. Pogo because Mr. Pogo, I was like, this fat guy's just stabbing people. But Sabu and Hayabusa and Masato Tanaka, they're athletic and do cool moves. I hate Mr. Pogo. And then fast forward now, I'm a fat guy who stabs people and I don't do any flips. You know? But as a kid, you know, if as a fan, I always loved Sabu. If we could still make it happen before it's all said and done, that would be cool. But if I could be anyone, it'd probably be prime Bruiser Brody, just to experience the ass kicking.
Speaking of Pogo, this is very Pogo-like right here, man.
Yeah. So actually, believe it or not, Masada actually made that sickle. So you know how Masada crafts and does like cool like woodwork and stuff. He made that sickle and sold it to a fan, and a fan brought it to the anniversary show with me and Matt Tremont, Bob Ware Boards, and the fan brought it and gave it to Tremont, which I wish they didn't, because he carved the fuck out of me with it. And then I just did the barbed wire cage against Tremont at Subterranean Violence 666, and the same fan brought that same sickle, and I got it again. So, Amy, stop bringing the sickle to shows. Get cut up, man.
How do you feel, or how do you heal after a death match? Brian wants to know.
How do I heal?
Yeah, how do you
Time,
heal up, man?
time,
Glue
man.
what?
Like I did a scramble match. So, like, people who do know me, like wrestlers and people that know that I've been having rib injuries basically my entire career. It's like my Achilles heels. I've got bad ribs apparently. I did a scramble match in Super Kicked, which is a promotion based in Toronto, Canada. Super cool promotion. They might have been one of the first ones to do the chain ropes. I don't know, but I just know that's something that they're notorious for. And I did an 8-man scramble, just a throwaway match, just to do a fun match. And this guy gave me a double stomp and broke the fuck out of my rib. And that was in August. And I've been wrestling on a broken rib. It just now is good. So it took like 5 to 6 months. The reason I couldn't take time off is because I had all these bookings and flights already booked and commitments. So it's like I only canceled a couple shows, but I had just too much lined up. So I've been wrestling on a bad rib for a while. Like if you even watch, I did ICW against this guy Mikey Wild in Wisconsin. And you could oddly hear me tell him not to put weight on me when he's pinning me. I couldn't even take a pin with the weight. Oh, get up! Like egging him to get the fuck off me. So I finally feel good. But yeah, I wrestled injured a lot. The only thing that helps it with is time. Uh, Also, when I got back from the UK, I did a no ring against Big Fucking Joe at Rise Underground Halloween night, and a light tube went into. You can't see it, but a light tube went into my arm over here. And when I got back, I thought I had the flu. I was just so fucked up. But
Damn.
I got an infection in my arm, and I had to spend 4 days in the hospital. But we do dangerous. We do a dangerous job. I know what it is going in. The best thing to do is just clean all your cuts, rest up, do the best you fucking can. But I mean, people think wrestling. This is all real, man. But our bodies are getting destroyed. Yeah, so I'm just doing it till the wheels fall off, basically.
Yeah, ride it till the fucking wheels fall off. Hey, let's talk about this show real quick.
Murder Mania.
Yeah, man. Hold on, I can't see it. All right, there we go. It says, what is it? I can't even read it, man.
All right, so last
Something.
year I did Murder Mania no ring shows because WrestleMania was at Jersey, so I was like, "Yo, I should run." So I ended up doing 2 nights. The first night I did at Lucky 13 Saloon against FNW Leather, and FNW Leather does like the mat wrestling in Japan. He used to do in the South in Memphis. He used to do like underground no ring bar wrestling too. So he was like one of the first guys to like do something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be a cool no ring dream match. He does them in Japan, and he happened to be in town. So the first night we did FMW Leather, and the next night I did Effie, and I actually have my Effie flyer in the back. I drew that thing for Effie. That is Effie, and Effie had never done a death match, so it was cool to get him to do one. So now this year Mania's in Tampa, and I was like, fuck it, I'll run again. So now I've got Murder Mania Night 1, and I actually just announced Murder Mania. I just announced the other Murder Mania night literally today. I just posted the flyer. So the first show is called Murder Mania Night 1, No Ring, No Rules to the Extreme. And then this show right here is Murder Mania Night 2, Casanova Valentine's Big Fat Shameless Mania Week Self Booking.
That's what I was trying to say. I couldn't read all that right there. That's awesome, man. I love that title.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I'm kind of like polarizing. People either like really like me or fuck with me, or just do not like me. So I just figured I'd take the things that people don't like about me and just run with it. So like, yeah, I booked myself on Mania Week. Fuck it, Bafangul.
Okay, Dominic says, give us a Murder Mania announcement. Anything, man. Who are you facing? Who do you want to face? Anything? What? Something. Come on. We can give the Death
Well, here's
Hour
the thing: is
something.
Murder Mania Night 1 is a collab show between me and No Peace Underground, which is the no ring promotion that I helped set up based in Orlando, Florida. And Murder Mania Night 2, I've announced all the matches except for the main event, who I'm fighting. I'll give you one match, but I don't know if I'm supposed to, but fuck it, whatever, right? Murder Mania Night 1, the co-main event will be Tony Deppen versus Serpentico. So That would
Whoa.
be like a really fucking good one. And it's called To the Extreme, and it's going to be ECW esque. That's all I'll say. All right.
Holy shit, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, man. And I've got
How the fuck are you
what's that, man?
how the fuck are you getting Deppin to do death matches now?
I don't know. I was just talking to one of my friends about this. Uh, I got Devin to do a death match. I got Effie to do a death match, and I'm doing MB Young's done one death match before, but I'm doing a death match with him Thursday. I don't know. They're just cool dudes, and it just ended up happening. I don't know. Like I think they trust me to do it. I work. Me and Deppin became friends because my shoot job. I'm a bouncer at a brewery, and he like legit comes in because he's a big beer guy. So he legit just comes to my job every once in a while, and I see him. So we started shooting the shit, and then the brewery I work for is called Other Half, and they put on these big festival shows, and I do all the wrestling for these festivals. So like me and NYWC in Deer Park, Long Island, we collab. We get the ring, guardrails, like a legit show, and we run them at the festivals, and we do 2 a year. And so me and Deppin start talking. He likes beer, so I started booking for him for those. I wrestled on 2 of those shows, and we just kept in touch. And I was trying to book him for one, and I don't remember if I asked him or if he asked. I was just like, "Oh, would you be cool with death?" And he said, "Yeah." So it was cool. He took a tube, fuck.
I know, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, man, it's
um,
kind of cool because he does big deathmatch promotions, but he did one with me, so it's kind of nice.
right now, the fans are watching Deppin beating you down with a nail dildo right now as you
Its
speak.
name is Satan Cock.
You
That's what
can't see it because you're on that little app thing, but we're all watching it. It looks like it hurts, man. Can you give us a story of Satan cock?
Satan Cock. I got a good Satan Cock story. I can't remember what show I was coming back from, but I jumped a turnstile to get on the subway back in Brooklyn, and the cop stopped me, and I have a bag full of bloody clothes and Satan Cock in there. And the cop stopped me and they asked to look at my bag. I go, before you do, I'm a professional wrestler. There's a gimmick in there that I use for wrestling. So I had to open my phone up to show them photos. Because they opened the bag, and it's like, I look like the killer from Seven. I got like a spiked dick and all this blood. Like it was, they ended up just letting me go. They didn't give me a ticket. They probably just wanted me the fuck out of there. So
That's hysterical.
yeah, St. Cock's shoot hurts, man. You can't fake the nails. Like
So DJ Hyde, real quick, going back to
mm-hmm.
him. I know you say he gets a bad rap and all. How is it working with him? Is it seems like you guys, I mean, not tight, but it seems like you're getting a lot of bookings there lately, and they're kind of pushing you as their top deathmatch guy.
Well, I don't know. Here's the thing with DJ, and here's the thing with just indie wrestling in general. There's always going to be someone who doesn't like someone, or someone who has heat with someone. There's always going to be someone who says, "Don't work with this guy." And I'm sure people have valid reasons for not liking certain people. Like, I work with what I mean? So I'm sure the guys I've been with all the time that feel a certain way. They have their reasons. All I can go off my experiences is he pays me well and he gives me matches every once in a while. So till otherwise, I have no reason not to. Also, like I don't work. I mean, the big elephant in the room is I don't work for Game Changer. So any place I can do a death match close by and it pays me a lot, I have no reason not to. I'm an independent wrestler. I'll just go whoever calls me. So I have nothing to do with feuds or beefs. I just go whoever calls me and books me. But I haven't been to CZW that much. I'm not really a CZW guy. I did 2 TODs, and then I did Tremont and Dan O'Hare. So in 2 years, I've only wrestled for him 4 times. So it's not like, you know what I mean? So I don't know what their plan is going forward with me or just in deathmatch in general. I saw that they announced that they're going to do TOD in 2001 in the UK. I don't know if I'll be on that or not, but I just go by who calls me, like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, fuck it. fuck you, pay me type thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. No Peace Underground. You're deeply involved with this thing, right?
So
The whole
No
thing.
Peace Underground is. Hold on, let's see which beer was here. This is the fresh one. No Peace Underground. There was a club in Orlando, Florida, called. It used to be called Back Booth, and it changed its name to Soundbar. They flew me in to do just my no ring bar gimmicks. They were the first people outside of New York to book my show. So I've been doing them in New York forever. Orlando, their booker hit me up to come just do a one off. I did a one off. It was really successful. We did another one. And then the owner of the club was like, hey, would you feel comfortable if we made a whole promotion around this? And we made a bell and we ran with it. And I said, yeah. So, popular to, a lot of people think I'm like mad about other no ring shows, and that's not what it is. It's I do Time Bomb in North Dakota. I helped set up No Peace in Orlando. Um, I'm doing a no ring with Heavy Metal Wrestling. I'm doing one in Australia. I've done one with the Rise Underground. Whoever calls me and sets up is cool. The only problem I ever had was the one in LA. When they were doing big interviews, they just said they started it. So that's the only beef I had is I just, I was a little put off because, they came out 3 years after me and the owner used my tapes to pitch the idea of the venues, which is fine. Listen, I don't even live in LA. It's not like they're taking money out of my pocket that I was going to be making a lot, but I just didn't, rub me the wrong way when they, didn't acknowledge me. You didn't even have to say my name. They could have just said, no ring bar shows are popping up and we brought them to the West Coast. That would have been fine, So that's the only, and from there, some problems came up, but that was my only real beef, you know what I mean? So.
Okay, well, since you brought it up, let's get into it. You trademarked it. How deep is that? Let's say tomorrow morning you wake up and you find out you don't know me and I'm running a no ring tonight. What's gonna happen to me? Am I gonna get a call from you or what?
Nothing. I might reach
No.
out to you to if you need help or if you're interested in booking me. There's another promotion. Well, they only did a one-off last Super Bowl week in Atlanta. This guy booked the first no ring deathmatch pay-per-view ever. It was this guy TJ Malcolm. He ran that, and then the next night in Super Bowl week he ran Hell or High Water. And I did the first ever no ring pay per view, and it wasn't through me; it was through this guy. And he booked. It was me versus Effie versus Matt Cross versus Ethan Page. So I'm down to do business. I don't have an ego. It's just the reason I trademarked the terms. And here, let me just clear the air. If people that don't know, if you hate me, you don't understand. I'm not saying I invented the idea of wrestling outside of a ring. I did it. There's Boiler Room Brawl, there's DDT, there's stuff in Japan. There's been variations of stuff like this, But when I started doing them in New York, I would do them in a bar with bands and the whole structure of my match, and I would use the terms no ring, no rules, and no ring death match, So I just trademarked those terms. It's no different than someone trademarking their company name or trademarking their nickname. Like Diamond Dallas Page owns the trademark on the diamond symbol and sued Jay-Z,
Mhm.
The only
Yeah.
reason I did that it was to just protect myself if it gets picked up by a huge festival or it gets picked up for a Netflix show. I just want to make sure I'm involved. That's all. I don't know why I think people don't understand what the trademark means. I think I invented backyard wrestling and I'm mad at everyone else. I'm not. So it's kind of good I can clear that up. You know what I mean? People that know I'm not a dick. I'm not coming after anyone. I might have said I gave a cease and desist to Suburban Fight, but they're the only ones that talk shit. So I'm cool with I'm really cool with everyone else, So that's why there's a tiff.
Okay. Hey, I'm playing an audio clip of Vince McMahon right now saying "in my hands" because
Yeah, that tweet was good. That's a good tweet.
it was. So you don't like Suburban Fight Club or whatever their name is? Okay, Flip. He wants to know thoughts on Ian Rodden and working for him. IWA Deep South.
I've only worked for Ian once. Ian ran a show in New Jersey at Matt Tremont's building, and it was actually a really good match. It was me, Nick Gage, and Schlack in a triple threat like street fight. There's no glass, but the match was pretty good. I wish more people saw it. I think people don't really know about that show. The attendance was kind of low on the show too, but it's the only time I've worked for Ian. I have nothing to get. I mean, I work IWA. I'll go wherever calls me. They pay. Hey, if they
Yeah,
pay
my
for the
little
flight
daughter.
and hit me up, I'm open to do business. I work with his son, JC Ron. He runs Trainwreck in Memphis, and I did a no ring after one of the Southern Sickness Cup nights. So I talked to his son. Me and him are cool. I'll probably be back at Trainwreck a couple times this year. But yeah, Ian's cool with me. I mean, he's never stiffed me on money. I've only worked for him once, so like I mean, what.
Nice. How was it meeting Onita, the god? I mean, that had to be pretty insane, no?
You know what, man? Like when you're a wrestler, you don't want to like act like a fan. But it's like Onita, man. I had to get a picture of Onita. It was cool, man.
Hell yeah.
Like, I mean, whatever, I've only asked for pictures with Onita, Necro, and Abdul the Butcher. But it was cool, man. He's kind of a crazy guy. He doesn't speak all English, but he was cool. It was cool to see him. That was kind of a cool vibe that night that he was there at CZW. So yeah, Anita's the man, and I know he's trying to launch like an explosion promotion. I heard some talk about that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if that happens, I mean, I'm trying to. Right now, I've got shows. I've done shows and lined up shows in Canada, UK. I got Australia coming up. Um, I'm trying to put something together eventually with Zona in Mexico. So there's no reason why I can't eventually get to Japan. I actually think I can. So if I can get there through Anita's promotion, or if I can get through there doing Matt No Rings, whatever gets me there. But before it's all said and done, I like to try to get there. So we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, for sure. You brought it up just now. There it
Yeah,
is.
Abby.
That's cool, man.
That match was
um,
cool. That night that was at the Bruiser Brody Cup in Philly, and you know how Tremont uses like the big barbecue prong fork thing
hmm
in a match. It was a triple threat. I can't remember who was in it, but Sammy Callahan puts the fork into Tremont's head, and me and him did a similar spot when we wrestled in CZW. And
Yeah,
so
I remember.
Sammy Callahan's drilling this fork into Tremont's head. I look over at Abby. He's sitting there. He's like, "Yeah," he was loving it. So it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool night.
That's awesome. Are you going to
Yeah,
be in the Brody Cup too? That's coming up here soon in Georgia, I believe.
I don't know. I have someone that's giving me potential dates with them, but nothing's lined up. Nothing's locked. I also have some opportunities in late April, which I can't talk about yet. But we'll see. If I'm not certain places and that stuff happens, there's been some talks about it, but I don't know. Last year, I just did their battle royal to open the show. Stockade hit me up and he's like, "I know you love Bruiser Brody. You want on the show? It's free. He's no pay." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come to Philly, get some subs, and do a battle royal quick." So it was just for fun. Maybe I'll be on this year. We'll see.
Nice. Corey Henry wants to know: is it true you might be going to Australia soon? Whoa.
Yeah, I leave. So actually, can I be real with you guys? I leave
That's what
March.
we want. We want nothing but the real here,
Yeah,
man.
I leave March 10th, but I'm a little nervous because they have me fly to Hong Kong and I stay in China for 5 hour layover and that whole virus that's
Whoa.
going around. You know about that?
Yeah. What's it called? I forgot the
It starts
name.
with a C. There's some virus, but like 200 people have died, and
Corona or something?
I don't know if I should have them change my flight to just lay
You
over
might say
somewhere else.
fuck that shit.
Just because not only that, but like I have to when I come back, I need to be back in time for a booking, the 22nd. So like I don't want to be held up and be quarantined. You know what I mean? So we'll see about the flights, but I'm definitely going to Australia. There's a deathmatch wrestler named Joel Bateman. Uh, He's been in the States a couple times, did some Beyond shows. Uh, he was the guy that he works for, I think, Melbourne City Wrestling, and they had some interest, and we talked back and forth, and I was going to go to Australia. So I'm going to do, I actually just finished the flyer like right now. Today's been busy. I finished the flyer for Australia. I got the flyer for Murder Mania Night 1 done. I'm shaking and moving. But I'll post the flyer once I get off here for the Australian show. So that show is, I think, March 13th, and I'm trying to line up one more no-ring death match while I'm there because I'll be there for 10 days, and then I might just do some in-ring bookings too. So yeah, it's wild. Australia for 10 days, fly home, a big booking back home, close by, get back on a plane, go to the UK, deathmatch tournament, fly home, go to Tampa. And I think one day in Tampa, I have 3 deathmatch tournaments in one day. It's a good problem to have. Like, I'm busy as fuck, but like, this is all I ever wanted to do, So like, it's at that point now where I'm like, So it's good, but I have to keep myself healthy. We'll see how it goes.
Is that Australia thing involving that Mad Dog?
Um, there's, I think
Do
there's
you
been
know
some
that guy?
communication with Mad Dog. He's probably like the most known
Mhm.
guy from Australia. He did the No Rope with Sabu, did
Yeah.
Takeda.
Sure.
Uh, as of now, nothing's booked, but I think there's interest in maybe doing another show with him. But nothing's official yet. The only one that's official is Joel Bateman, the 13th.
Nice. Okay, Crystal Turtle. Do you remember the beer waterboard incident with Herzog? I think it was a no ring
Yeah,
after
I
party
waterboarded
at
him.
Southern. You waterboarded him. Huh?
It's beer boarding. I like him a lot. Alex is a super talented guy. A lot of people may not remember, but he was in Viking War Party with Warhorse, and before Warhorse became Warhorse.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, Alex is a cool dude. There's actually a clip in that match. Uh, Alex gets down to a cheetah print speedo, and he works me against the bar, and he just
Yeah.
hits me with his dick. And I think that thing has like 30,000 views on Twitter or something like that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, we got to watch that. I think JC Rodden played that match in the group one night. He let us watch it free.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. It was an extra match. Like, I did the tournament. I wrestled Zodiac first round, and then later that night we did the no ring with Alex, and then the next night I wrestled Akira, and man, my broken rib was okay, and then I ended up just hurting it real fucking bad in the match. So the match was not bad, but I was hurting real bad. It could have been a lot better. Um, so I was pretty fucked up after that. Flying home was brutal, but I'm all healed up now. I'd like to come back to Trainwreck whenever it happens.
Eric Morrison, he wants to know, when are you working Brooklyn Brawler? He wants
Oh,
Brooklyn Brawler?
Eric.
Are you?
So Eric runs Time Bomb. He knows.
Oh,
I
okay.
listen. Last Murder Mania, I tried to book the Brooklyn Brawler, like shoot, dead ass. Like I thought would have been fucking great to do the Brooklyn
That would
Brawler
have been.
and Brooklyn Mania weekend. And it's funny as I was talking to Brooklyn Brawler. His real name's Steve Lombardi. I was talking to him, and he would only call me Kenny. He didn't like for some reason thought my name was Kenny. No matter how many times I told him my name was Cast. Hey Kenny, I'm coming up, blah blah blah. And then I guess he got injured or something wrestling, grappling with some MMA guy, and he had to cancel. So that was one of the big what ifs. If I could have wrestled the Brooklyn Brawler, but I did end up. There's a match I did which I thought would get a lot more hype than it did, but I wrestled the Patriot in a death match on
Yes,
Fourth
I
of
know. That
July,
was great.
and I thought that would be bigger. Like it was Salvatore Sincere, Tom Brandy. Uh, the dude is in phenomenal shape. He's in his 50s, and he hit me with like a firework baseball bat, like a M80 baseball bat. He hit me with light tubes. I took the full Nelson slam on a trash can. Like he went in, he did a death match. I thought that match was cool as fuck. I wrestled him on 4th of July. I think what I need to do is I need to wrestle Swoggle on St. Patty's Day, and just keep the
Yeah,
holiday death matches going.
book it, Casanova. We need to see that right now, man.
Hornswoggle,
And
maybe we'll make that one happen next. Yeah.
damn you, because if I would have known, I would have had a Brooklyn Brawler fucking picture to show right now, but I don't have it, guys.
It's all good. Not a lot of people know I tried to book the Brooklyn Brawler. I think I mentioned it on Twitter once, but yeah, I kind of wish that one happened.
Corey, he wants you to bring this. He wants you to bring your style to Australia, man. He wants more of you.
Yeah, I'm excited. Joel Bateman just posted a promo of him calling me out for the match, and I'm really excited, man. I've already seen on Twitter when I first announced it. There's already some like Jim Cornette type fans in Australia that are pissed about it. But I know what I do isn't for everybody. You know what I mean? And like I'm self-aware. Like I don't get mad and demand people respect what I do. But it's just I do what I do. I was raised on Bruiser Brody, Abdul the Butcher, old school Texas death matches with Funk, Cactus Jack. I grew up watching FMW and ECW. It's just what I'm into, And not everyone has to like it, and it's fine. I don't like every genre of fucking music. You know what I mean? I don't expect everyone to like everything, but I just do what I do, and I'm happy. I travel the world as a deathmatch wrestler and doing the no ring shows. So like, people can feel however they want about it, but I pay rent and I'm doing it when I want. So I'm happy and I'm excited to do Australia. It's cool. It's probably like, a once in a lifetime kind of deal. So I'm excited for it.
Hell yeah. I can't wait to see you out there. I would love to see you versus Mad Dog, though, man.
Mad Dog, yeah. He
You
had a
versus
really. I
Mad Dog.
saw clips of his no rope with Sabu. It looked pretty dope. We'll see. There's a Actually, I'm wearing the shirt. There's an artist in Melbourne named Fuck You Baker on Instagram. Me and him became friends online, and his buddy owns a like do-it-yourself punk rock space. It's basically like his basement. So what we're gonna try to do is me and Fuck You Baker are gonna do a collab pop-up art show there, and then do another no ring death match there. So it's not confirmed yet, but it will be. So I'll probably end up doing more than one match while I'm in Australia. And I actually got this guy to design a shirt for me for the Australia tour. So I'll have like custom shirts made just for the Australia trip. So pretty dope.
Hell yeah. Speaking of your art, man, you're an artist. You make some pretty dope shit. Let's see, what do I want to put up here? This one? It's not really deathmatch, but I love this shit. Could you hear me right now, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, the zombie
Sorry, I'm
Hogan.
doing all this shit at once. So if you see my eyes looking elsewhere, I'm just trying to load videos for everybody, pictures, everything, and talk to you. This thing though is dope, dude.
Yeah, I got a funny story about this too, but I filled out art college. I drew the FE flag back there. I'm always making art all the time. Like I hand draw all the flyers for the no ring shows. Um, and I always been making art. My dad was a silkscreen printer. My grandpa was a silkscreen printer. And the first no ring death match that I ever promoted was an art show, and it was called Deathmatch to Pro Wrestling Tragedy. And I did portraits of like Owen Hart, Bruiser Brody. Like I did portraits of famous dead wrestlers. So the first no ring death match was a full blown art show, and I was trying to think of ideas for the art show, and I was like, well, why don't I just wrestle someone in the venue space as like a performance art piece? So like when I say that the no ring shows are art shows, it's not me just saying it to get around commission shit. I actually do consider it art. Like I interact with the crowd. I get there, they start to feel bad when I'm suffering. They want me to come back. I really do think pro wrestling is a form of performance. I actually 100% believe that. You know what I mean? So it's yeah. I totally have. I consider everything I do art with wrestling. And yeah. Um, yeah. And what's funny is I wish I thought of a better name because the first show was just called Deathmatch. Blah blah blah. And then it was supposed to just be a one-off. And then it was popular, and the venue asked me to do another one, and then I just started dumping. It was Deathmatch 1, Deathmatch 2, Deathmatch 3. And after I did Deathmatch 10 against DJ, and then I did one more called Deathmatch XXX, and that was the final numbered one because I was like, all right, yeah. So now everything I do that's promoted by me is under the banner New Fear City. So any show that I promote is New Fear City. So, but yeah, if I knew it was a happy accident, I wasn't planning to do no ring shows all over the place. It just fucking picked up, So thank God.
Yeah, it did blow up, and you definitely blew up. I remember when I first talked to you when I first created the MDKC, and you weren't as big as you are now, man. Now I see you on fucking my television, my app, Independent Wrestling, a couple weeks ago on ICW. How was that working with Danny DeMonto now?
Danny, well, Danny, Danny and me are cool. I don't know. It's weird. I never worked ICW because ICW and Game Changer were like tight, Uh, but Danny's putting his full effort into ICW, so hopefully I'll be back there more. The ICW show was very cool, and it was like right up my alley, like a no holds barred show with chains, you know. So
Mhm.
I thought that was pretty. It was totally made for me to do that show. So I'm glad that they pulled the trigger and asked me to be a part of it. So I'm thankful for Danny for bringing me in.
How was it working Homicide?
Homicide's awesome, dude. Homicide's cool as fuck. Uh, I see that Schlack said something. Let me get to this Homicide story. Homicide's awesome. We wrestled one other time at Capital Wrestling in Jersey. We did a main event for his belt. Uh, I thought the match was pretty alright, but this match is like the match because that was like there's no blood and stuff on Capital. There's dope promotion, but this doing ICW, I got to really do it how I wanted, with the violence. And yeah, when we were figuring the match out, I was like, dude, I should just get stabbed out. Like if this we're fighting inside of a no chairs. There's everyone's standing up. Uh, there's chains. Like it shouldn't be a pin. So I'm glad the match ended the way it did. I think that match. I think I was I was definitely hands down the smallest name on that card, and I think after the show, I definitely was one of the more talked about things. So I was happy with the performance. I thought the match was good, and I'm back in the gym right now. I feel fucking great. I can't wait to get back in there and start putting on like 25-minute, half-hour clinics now. So I'm feeling good.
Answer this. No God, only shellac. He wants to know this. Can you read it? Enter gender
Yeah.
match.
Who would it be
Kit.
besides Kit? Hey, Schlack,
You
it'd
can't say
probably be
Kit. That's
Maria
too
Manic.
easy. Okay, so let's see.
Probably Bull, Nakad. I'd probably do her in her prime.
Bull.
Yeah. That she would be like a tough ass broad.
Hell yeah. So, how was it since we're on to all these big time shows you've been doing? Because you've been lighting it the fuck up, man. I
Well,
watched you on Fight TV. I believe it was last weekend. It was really good, man. I know 2020 just started, but it was a damn good show. Your match with Tremont was awesome. How was that working?
this like 2020 started hot. So 2020, I did pay-per-view Fight TV against Homicide. Had a real brutal fucking match. Uh, and then I wrestled this guy Lord Crew and AJ Gray in a triple threat in Columbus, Ohio for On Station Pro. So I got to wrestle AJ Gray, who's coming up. He's real good. And then I did the Barber Cage main event on Fight TV. And then I've got no rope Barber Masada. So that would be 3 pay-per-views, 2 main events this month. And that's just the first month. So I'm happy. I just want to keep grinding in the gym, grinding at training, getting my weight down, working on new suplexes, new dives, just upping my game. And want to keep, I want to keep, I want to stay at a top guy. Tremont's great. Tremont hit me up to do Deathmatch 7. So just real quick, so people know, when I first started doing the no ring deathmatch shows, I just wrestled local guys. I wrestled Joe Attell, Magma. Then I did Jotel Magma in a triple threat, and like Masada hit me up to do it, and Tremont hit me up to do it. So it's not like people that don't know, it's not like I'm throwing money at guys and begging them to come fight me. You know what I mean? I split the door up. Like when I get the door, I split the money between the bands and the wrestlers. And when Zack Sabre Jr. hit me up to do one of them, like, what was I going to say? No. Like, hey man, it's kind of a small thing I want to do. I'm like, dude, if you want to come down after Japan and wrestle in a bar, sure, of course I'll have you. So I've been very fortunate that a lot of people just thought it was cool and contacted me. Because it was cool. They gave me an opportunity. Tremont came and did Deathmatch 7 against me at Tender Trap, and that was the most packed one because Zack Sabre wrestled Chuck Taylor to open. So think how crazy that shows. Sabre and Chuck Taylor, and then the main event was me and Tremont in a deathmatch. That's pretty wild for any show,
Yeah, I remember watching that on YouTube. That was crazy, man. I was
Yeah,
shocked that
and
he was there and
that
doing
was
a new ring.
the tightest deathmatch I ever did. Like we were fighting like in a phone booth because it was so tight, So that match was great. Tremont, we're in the locker room and I had got a huge argument because I was like, he wanted me to win. I was like, no, I can't win. Like you can't. At this time, he was a 7-time king of the deathmatch. I'm like, dude, I can't have you come here and win. People are gonna shit on that, But Tremont's a sweetie, and he's like, no, brother, we'll put you over tonight. And I was like, dude, people are gonna think I, pay to have you come lose to me. It's not a good look. But he insisted. We had a good match. And then he invited me to be a part of Hardcore Kingdom, his H2O, his deathmatch tournament. And at that time, I wasn't really taking a lot of indie bookings. Like I was just doing the bar shit. So Tremont inviting me to H2O is kind of what brought me back into indie wrestling. So people that don't know, I was trained at NYWC in Deer Park, Long Island, which is Mikey Whipwreck's school. And I was actually trained, one of my trainers was Tony Nese. People don't know that,
Whoa,
I
yeah.
wrestled on the indies. Yeah, I just did like local shows. And I wrestled for, a couple of years. And then I just stopped because like it just wasn't fun. I struggled with depression and I just took a break. I was like, dude, this isn't fun anymore. And when I did that art show, it kind of I hadn't wrestled when I did Deathmatch 1. I hadn't wrestled on the indies in over a year. So like doing the no ring shows, they started building up. Tremont invited me to H2O, and then from there, I have a whole career now. So I'm very thankful that Tremont asked me to be in his tournament. It breathed new life into my career. I was just happy doing some bar shows, and that was it. I remember after Masada, I thought Deathmatch 5 was going to be the last one. I was like, I can't keep doing this. People were shitting out. Like, people were having fun, but I was like, yeah, I had my fun. But here I am now. The first one I did was 2016. Here I am, 2020. I'm doing all over the world. So I'm very thankful for people that bring me back, So, so we did Deathmatch 7 with Tremont, and then we did CCW 20th Anniversary Barbed Wire Boards. And so this match was our third match. So it's kind of the blow off. We were 1-1. And it was great. Tremont's a lot like me. He's very character. Tremont cuts like fucking great promos, and I'm not like, to each their own different flavors and stuff. You know what I mean? A lot of guys, do a lot of really cool, intricate moves. And that's cool. That's your style. That's fine. I'm just more of a character-driven guy. I want to tell a story. Even if it's deathmatch, people say there's no storytelling deathmatch. I think there is. So that's why when I called Tremont out, I was like, yo, you're old, you're beaten up. It's time to pass the torch. I chained him. I zip-tied him to the ropes. I was like, if you want to be a martyr for these people, I'll make you one. So trying to push the story aspect of it. And I think we told a good story,
You did. I was messaging Jimmy Loin after it, and I was telling him that was a great story that you guys told. I
Thank you.
honestly said that, man. But yeah, that was a great event, man. I'm hoping to see you on every H2O fight show. I hope.
Yeah, well, me and Tremont have a good relationship. So whenever he wants me back, I'll be there.
What's up with this picture?
I haven't tagged over this yet. So people that don't know, like my Instagram is MC Death Bear, and it's because I used to be, well, I still do, but I street tag. I tag and put up wheat paste and do street art. So
Damn, that's awesome.
this is actually near my stop, and there's a bunch. They're all in the Bronx, so I'm gonna tag over them this week. So
Do you have any crazy ass like Tinder trap stories you could tell us? There had to have been like something you can think of that was just insane that happened there or something.
crazy stories that happen at Tender Trap.
Yeah.
Tender Trap. The reason why Tender Trap was such a special bar, like people that don't
Mhm.
know, is like I was the bouncer there, but like all these famous street artists would come in. All these really dope art shows through this gallery called Super Chief were booked. It was just like a dope fucking place. We had go-go dancers. It was the coolest bar fucking ever, you know. And the owner is a retired BMX bike rider who's like super famous in that world. And so it was like just a cool place to work. And what made the show special was like I was a bouncer there and did the shows, and the one bartender, his band Tight Fright, played on the shows. So it was like it was a real family atmosphere. You know, it was all my friends. I get my friends to be the door person. I get my other friends to be the refs. So it was just like a very special time of like just me and my close friends putting on wild punk rock shows. You know, so that's why it was special. You know, when Tender Trap closed, it was a bummer, but you know, I have 3 other venues I
Yeah.
run. I have like 2 other ones in the works just in New York. You know, I travel with them now, but you kind of can't recreate the energy that Tender Trap was. It was kind of cool. We started a cool thing there, you know. Uh, the best stories I have are just knocking people out. You know, I mean, I've been a bouncer since I was 18. You know, there's a lot of guys that like, not that you have to be a tough guy to be a pro wrestler. You don't. There's a lot of guys that have different flavors. I like to think that there still should be some guys that are shoot tough. You know what I mean? Like Masada's one of them. Schlack's one of them. Like if push came to shove, they can actually beat someone up. So way before I ever stepped into a wrestling ring, I was, you know, I've been stabbed. I've been shot at. Like I got stabbed all the way through my face
Man.
bouncing, and that's, you know, real. I spent 2 weeks in the hospital. Uh, it's nice to know that some people can still fight. You know, so.
That's crazy, man. Corey Henry, who is the funniest person in the locker room?
Who's the funniest person in the locker room? It's either Schlack, because Schlack, just the way he looks, like his delivery on everything is fucking hilarious. Like, just him saying anything's super fucking funny. Just like, you know? And Low Life
Hmm.
Louie's pretty fuck. I actually got a good story. So, uh, we're in the back, and it was Sean Henderson's show he promoted at Tremont's building. And Connor Claxton and Low Life Louie are trying to call their match, right? And Low Life Louie, he's got. Have you talked to Louie? He's got a real high pitched voice. He's a great dude. And he's like, "Okay, bud, you take the double end dildo, and I try to go at you, you duck, and I put it in my son's mouth, and you cut me off and put the other end in my mouth. So me and my son both have dildos in our mouth, and then you give us a double line, right?" And Connor Claxton's like, "I'm not the kind of guy that says no to stuff. But when it comes to incest pedophilia, it might be the line." It was fucking hilarious.
That's
Louis great. Schlack's
Ducks
great.
don't kill people. Slack kills people.
Like I do normal in ring shows. I do comedy matches, hoss fights, you know, whatever the promoter needs. But deathmatch is so much more fun. Like other shows, it's just so serious with shaking everyone's hand, uh, not being, you know, being respectful. Make sure you know, like it's almost like the military almost, you know. Whereas deathmatch shows way more laid back and everyone's having fun. So it's a lot more of a party atmosphere doing deathmatch shows. So it's fun, you know. Whereas other indie bookings feel like a job, you know. Deathmatch shows are just a fucking blast. Like I'm so glad. If someone told me I could either do a family friendly show and like sit in the back and have all the vets like mean dog me, you know, or I could roll in glass and have fun. I'd choose rolling in glass. Like,
Thoughts on ICW Milwaukee and dysfunction?
Dysfunction's a cool dude. I wrestled him on Marcus Crane's birthday show in Chicago. Uh, and that was a no ring show. So No Peace Underground in Orlando, we did. They helped sponsor one show in New Orleans. I did one show in New Orleans without them, and then when I went back to New Orleans again, they sponsored one of the matches, and then they sponsored Marcus Crane's birthday show. So they like helped pay for flights and stuff. So I wrestled in a no ring against Dysfunction there, and me, Kurt's cool dude. We've gotten along. It's just hard for me to get there, just because it's like a 15-hour, 16-hour drive. He hit me up to try to do his February show, but I'm booked at Horror Slam, so I couldn't do it. But I've been there once. Hopefully I'll be there again. They have a ref there who's cool as fuck, who makes a lot of cool weapons. So yeah, I had fun in Wisconsin. I wrestled a guy named Mikey Wild, who has never done a death match either, and did a death match with me. And he's like,
How was that? How did that go?
What's that, man?
How was that? How did that
Mikey
go? How
Wild
was
is a
that?
really like underrated guy in the Midwest. For whatever reason, he's not on freelance on all those big shows, but he's really fucking good, and he's an old friend of mine. So he's like, if I do a death match, I'll do it with you. So we actually had a really. I have my best of 2019 DVD coming out through Smart Mark in a week or so, and that matches are on it because it's a banger that I feel like not enough people have seen yet.
I didn't know
And then
that. I didn't know you had a DVD coming out, man. Oh
yeah, I got a
shit.
DVD coming out. It's got 18 matches on it, and I record like intros. I talk about each match a little bit. I wanted to do more than just put the matches together, So I just recorded all the intros and outros, and I got a trailer coming out that will be really good. I have a trailer where I have other wrestlers like, give me your thoughts on Casanova Valentine's DVD. So you'll see soon. That's going to be pretty good. Real quick before we move on about Mikey Wild, is when I broke into wrestling, I always told myself, I would be cool to other people, and I would help other people get opportunities, and I would never be a dick. And if people ask me for feedback, I'd give it to them, and I'd be the change that I wish I had. And so Mikey Wild was a guy I had a chance to do a death match with, and now like in Murder Mania, I booked Lord Crew from Ohio against another good guy named Wolf Taylor from Orlando, and I'm finally at the point where I can give people who I think are really good a platform. So it's cool to, it's one thing to come up and have success, but like to be able to help all the people up. Like I was really high on Treehouse Lee before he started blowing up, and I'm happy he's getting opportunities, and it's just cool, man. It feels good to help get my friends shows, and the shine, So yeah, I'm happy to do anytime I can do. I've got a guy that wrestles for Evolve who I'm going to announce for Murder Mania Night 1, who is awesome that people don't really know of, that I'm booking for a match. So, anytime I can help new people get looks, I love it,
Sal Lewis, he wants to. Okay, you don't know because you're on the app. About 5 minutes ago, when you were talking, I was playing a video in the background of you versus Shellac. So this guy wants to know, where can he see that full match of you versus
Um,
Shellac? Plug away, bro.
I'm going to get another beer, so we're taking a walk.
Cool, man.
All of my no ring shows that I've ever produced are free on my YouTube channel. So after in this group chat, I'll post a link, and everything's on there. Deathmatch 1 all the way up to me versus Deppin. So every single one's on there. The only deathmatch, the only deathmatch that there's no footage of is in Tucson, Arizona. I did a deathmatch with Neil Diamond Cutter and Kruger. The camera guy I had just sucked, and it's like unusable. But I'll try at least get some clips of that. But besides that, I've done almost 50 no ring death matches, and I'm trying to do once it's lined up. I'm trying to do me and John Wayne Murdoch for the 50th, and I want that to be an Iron Man no ring death match to go a full hour. So,
oh man, that would be the shit.
Yeah, and I have a really unique venue for it too. So that's what I want to do. But yeah, all of my matches are free on YouTube. I edit them, put them like, dude, I do like I draw the flyer, I book the show, I book the bands, I book the wrestlers. I sit there and help the guy edit. I don't know how to use the software, and then I upload them for free,
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that about what you do is I can always go on YouTube on my app on my TV and watch your match after about a week after it.
Yeah, I put Murder Mania night 1 and 2 last year uh on Smart Mark, and I was trying to, I was like, all right, I'm at the point where enough people know me, maybe I can try some of it, but I mean, it's still on there, but I just put it on free on YouTube. I'd rather just have people see my work. Like it's cool. I want to make my money through wrestling and hopefully my shirts and stuff. But I don't know. Like I just want. There's so many really good indie shows and really good matches, but sometimes it's not as accessible. You have to like download this thing or be on this site. There's Fight TV, independent wrestling, title match, Smart Mark, high spots. It's just like fuck it. I'm just going to release it for free, dude. I just want fans to be able to watch my shows.
Joe Callis, he says all your poster artwork is fucking fire.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I just I just want. I don't want them to look like wrestling flyers. I just want them like I want the shows to not just be like that's the thing is a lot of indie wrestling shows. It's like chairs in a brightly lit gym. It's not just like it's not the kind of guy I am. I'd want to be in a punk rock bar, covered in blood, hanging out, listening to fucking death metal. I'd rather the vibe be that instead of just like it's just not my style just to do a normal indie show. You know what I mean? Like it's just I mean I do those and I have no problem doing it, but like if it's up to me and I'm in control, I want to make it a little bit more sleazy, a little bit more Gigi Allen.
Hell yeah. Sal Lewis, how did they start No Rings? Well, you're the creator of that shit, so how did you create it?
Uh I'll tell you what the first motivation was. So Tender Trap is the venue that I started doing them, and then there was a gallery called Super Chief that would curate art shows in the back. They have a gallery in LA and a gallery in New York, and they do all these big, huge, crazy fucking shows. But one night, Super Chief curated boxing in the back. So in our bar, they just let people fucking knock each other the fuck out just in a circle in like a fight club. And I was like, holy shit, dude, if you guys will let them do boxing, they'll let me do a wrestling performance art. Because Tender Trap was cool. They didn't give a fuck. They're like, they were punk rock. So after that, I saw they let them do boxing. I was like, oh, they'll definitely let me do fucking light tubes. And then from there, they were supportive of me. They let me do the shows. They became one of the biggest money nights for Tender Trap. So I got to help my friends who owned the bar out. It was cool. So that's what incepted the idea in my head. And then I ran from there.
Nice. Rem Brown, he wants to know what advice would you give to someone who wants to do their first deathmatch tournament?
If you are already a fully trained wrestler who's already been working and you want to do a deathmatch tournament, I would say be hydrated and do your cardio because people don't realize when it's June and it's outside and it's hot as fuck and you're losing a lot of blood, you're gonna get gassed like even more than you would normally. You know what I mean? It's hot as fuck. You're bleeding out, and you got to wrestle more than one match if you're if that happens. Uh, I've definitely seen some people after some of the TODs and some of the deathmatch shows who are having a hard time physically, because they're just bleeding out and it's just hot. You stay hydrated, drink water. I don't take my own advice. I chug a lot of beers after the death matches, but yeah, and work on your fucking cardio because you're gonna hit the ropes once and the sun's gonna zap you. When I did TOD this year, I had to do one of my brewery shows first. So I wrestled Tony Deppen outside in the sun, got in a car, drove all the way to Jersey, and then did 2 rounds of TOD. So I still did 3 matches that day. So you just gotta cardio and water, bud.
Okay, hey everybody. We're gonna let Casanova go soon. Drop your last couple questions and he'll answer them up. This picture here, what is this? Old school Casanova? Look at you,
This is
man.
old school, cat. The hipster heartthrob, Casanova Valentine. This is when I first broke in on New York Wrestling Connection, and I was wearing the white glove. I mean, I was wearing the one glove because I was doing the claw gimmick. So I wanted to do like Yeah, I want to do like a Blackjack Mulligan tribute. I'm a big old school wrestling fan. So I was just my finishing move was just the claw, and then there was a wrestler named Papa Don, who he's an old school New York wrestler who's been around, really good vet, and he's like, "You're not gonna get the claw over. You got to do something different." And I was like, and so I just turned it into a goozle, just choke slam off the with the claw. A couple people have done it before. So I just thought, I still want to do because if you were a hipster, you would love old school wrestling. It used to, before it was called the Stage 5 Clinger, it was called the Von Erich Tragedy, because they do the claws, the Von Erich Tragedy. But I was trying to push the hipster heartthrob. So the hook kick off the ropes is called the long distance relationship. The swing slam is called the text message breakup, and the claw is called the Stage 5 Clinger. I'll never let you go, cling. But this is when I was trying to push the hipster shtick, with the hair and the glasses. And over time, I just got more grizzled and more bloody and more scarred. And I still have that as my moniker, but it's kind of funny now because I'm not much of a heartthrob. You know what I mean? But it's good. Triple H stands for Hunter Herms Helmsley. He's still not like a British dandy. You know what I mean? So I think it's fine to still use it as my nickname. So
Fuck it, man. Fuck it.
yeah.
What was I gonna ask you? Garden Weasel. How did you come up with that Garden Weasel gimmick?
I actually gotta give credit where it's due. There's a friend of mine named Noah who I was at this. If you watch the Vice documentary, there's this hardware store I would always go to near my apartment where I would get all plunder. And my buddy Noah was like, "What about that fucking thing?" And I was like, "That thing looks pretty badass." And I just got it. And I think one time it's been used. Joe Gacy did use a Garden Weasel once in a CZW match, but he swung it and it just exploded. So there has been someone has brought out a Garden Weasel, but I was the first one to use it. But yeah, I think the first time I ever used it was against Schlack in Deathmatch 8.5, and it just was cool looking and got over. So now I use the Weasel. What's funny about the Weasel is I have Weasels all over the country because I can't bring them on the plane. So if I go to LA, I make sure they order me a Garden Weasel, keep it there. I got one in Chicago. I've got one in Orlando. When I did No Peace, they had to ship a Garden Weasel over there to the UK. So I give Garden Weasel a lot of business because I'm buying Garden Weasels. I think I have 3 in my apartment. So but yeah, the Garden Weasel thing blew up. And then I used the Weasel. I used the Stinger, the barbed wire glove. I used Saint Cock. I'm just trying to do fun. I'm just trying to have fun. I'm just trying to use silly shit.
Neil Diamond Cutter. He says,
I'm
"Look
a
at that."
chode. How dare you? I actually love Neil Diamond. Also, Neil
We
Diamond
all
Cutter is just a
do.
great name.
We all love him, man.
Yeah. I would like to see Neil get bigger opportunities. He's real good. He's been around for fucking ever. So Neil, I love you.
Yeah, put him on more No Peace, man. Didn't he do one?
Yeah, he had a fucking awesome match with Alex Ocean. It was brutal as fuck. He took a tiger driving double underhook Canadian destroyer off the stage. It was brutal. But yeah, Neil's definitely a guy I think should be on more shows.
I know you mentioned him earlier, Mick Foley. How big of an influence is he in your
I
career?
mean, if you just look at me and the way I act in the ring, you
You
can
look
tell
like
that
him, man.
I watch a lot of Mick Foley and Bruiser Brody. Even my promos are very heavily Mick Foley influenced. But yeah, the reason why I did that entrance because I felt like TOD is kind of like CCW isn't as big as it was, but TOD still feels like the WrestleMania of Deathmatch to me. As a fan, and I know one year Ricochet Page came out as Bailey, and Mania usually have a special entrance, so I just thought it would be cool to do a Mick Foley tribute, Cactus Jack. Maybe I don't know if I'll do this, but maybe if I ever do a deathmatch tournament, I know I'm going to make it the finals. I'll do all three faces of Foley every round. I'll do Dude Love, Mankind, Cactus Jack. Maybe I don't know, but
You should.
I just always thought that image of him coming out with the barbed wire cross was so fucking iconic. IWA King of the Deathmatch.
Fuck yeah, it
And
is.
so it was just cool. The thing is, I'm just trying to have fun. The silly weapons I use, the silly promos I cut. I just want to have fun, you know?
Man, that's what we love about you. Keep fucking doing exactly what you're doing, Casanova.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
Look, Neil Diamond loves you. We all love you, man. And it's been a little over an hour. I know you want to go fucking tear the club up like 666 Mafia. So I'm gonna let you go, man.
All right, man. Hey, thanks so much for having me. I'm glad we could do this. I'll post a link once we get done here with my YouTube page if anyone wants to watch matches or anything. And here's another thing I was trying to tell somebody is, dude, I'm super accessible, man. If you wanna hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. If you see me after a show, I'll come drink a beer with you. I'm cool, man. I love hanging out with the fans. I love chilling out. I literally love doing this. So yeah, if you ever need advice, you want to hit me up. Oh, that sign's pretty great. Do you see
Before
that?
we go, yeah, all she wants for Christmas is for you to what? What the fuck is
Eat your
that,
ass.
man?
Yeah. She had another sign that was fucking great, and it said, "Casanova Valentine does drugs with your mom while your dad weeps."
That's hysterical.
My
Keep
girlfriend
plugging
got
away.
sick
Keep
mad
plugging
about
all
that.
your
So
shows. What's your upcoming shows, man? Get them out of the way one more time. At least a
okay,
few. Of them. You
so
got
here's
like
the
eight. Of
motherfucking
them.
rundown. The Hipster Heartthrob Casanova Valentine. This Thursday, our Wicked Lady no ring death match against the Bushwick Babyface MV Young. That's February 6th, February 8th. No Rope Bobber, main event Fight TV. The long time, long waited dream match against Masada. Then we've got then I go to Montreal and I'm gonna debut this thing called Valentine Vision, which I've been hinting at on Twitter. Whole new thing. Not no ring death match. It's another genre of wrestling. Who knows what it is? You guys will find out in a week or so. Then I come back. I do Detroit. I debut for Horror Slam, and then after that, Horror Slam, and then I do Heavy Metal Wrestling. In San Antonio, Texas, versus Ruben Steele. I'm really excited to go to fucking Texas, and right after that, I fly to Australia, and I'll be in Australia for 10 fucking days. I'll take on Joel Bateman in a no-ring death match. Have a couple other bookings pending. Get back. I have a big booking in Jersey. Can't talk about it yet, but that will be a banger. And then I've got Rise Underground, Games of Death tournament. They haven't announced it yet, but I'm fucking in it. I won it last year. And there's going to be another big American deathmatch wrestler in it too, which is going to be dope. They haven't announced yet, but Big Joe will be in it. There's a wrestler named Michael Caden in the UK who people aren't talking about, but they should. He's really fucking good. Light 2 Blue will be in it. And I think Iceman's going to come back. It's going to be a fucking stacked pay-per-view. And from there, I fly to Tampa. I do Murder Mania Night 1. No ring, no rules to the extreme. It's going to be ECW vibed show. Can't say who's on it yet. And
Hell
then
yeah.
I got right before that, Alex Ocean's hosting a show. So I'll do Alex Ocean's show, my show at Pegasus Lounge, and then I'll do Murder Mania Night 2 at Southern Nights. Then I'll do Prestige Wrestling later on in the day. And then I'll probably be on a collective show that night. So that'll be 3 shows. Thursday, Friday off. Saturday, I'll be at Metalcade, which is Fest Wrestling. They're going to have Municipal Waste and Obituary on that show. And then I got some other shows coming up. I'm in talks with Hell's Gate in Georgia. And I've got something really, really fucking huge that might happen in April, but I can't talk about it because it's not confirmed. But it would be huge if it happens. So there you go.
Holy shit, that's the longest plugs in the history, man. God damn, you got a lot of shows coming up, Casanova.
It's awesome.
Dude, I wish you the best of luck. I really respect what you're doing. You're one of the only, if not the only, self-made deathmatch wrestlers. Like you didn't use anything but yourself and your
Yeah,
thought and your vision, and I fucking respect it, man. The door is open. I want to have you on in maybe a few months again, man. I want you to
sure.
become
I'd
a good
love to be
friend of
on.
this.
And I want to just say to any independent wrestler who feels frustrated in their position, they're trying to get out, they're messaging promoters, they're left on scene, they're dying, they're trying to make it happen. I'm living proof that you can exist, you can have a living, you can be an international professional wrestler without the top promotions booking you. You know, I'm not on any huge show. What big promotions do I work? I think CZW is probably the biggest promotion I work, you know? So you just got to not let the bastards grind you down. Keep fucking doing you. Think of something new. Keep throwing shit at the wall. Something will stick. Look at fucking Warhorse. He fucking came up with the Warhorse persona. He's everywhere. Look at Danhausen. Fucking came up with something new. He's everywhere. Look at Effie. Look at Mance. Think of what you do good and fucking do it. There's enough money. There's enough wrestling. There's Impact, NXT, NWA. There's so many opportunities out there. Don't get fucking discouraged, dude. Just keep fucking grinding. It took me 7 years, 5 broken ribs, concussions, broken hand, lots of dumb shit. But thank God I kept grinding. I never gave up. So if you're an indie wrestler and you want to make it, keep doing it, man. I know how it feels. Sometimes you feel like nothing's happening and there's no change, but keep grinding, man.
Well, always know that MDKC and all the fans here have your fucking back to the end, Casanova. Thank you for joining me. Don't get too drunk at the fucking bar tonight, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
Looks like you're already
Thanks
started.
for having me.
Yeah, man. Peace out, Casanova. See you guys next week.